Welcome back to the week in black and white, a roundup of all the Juventus news that matters. A huge thank you to everyone that subscribed, that liked, that gave feedback. I really wasn't expecting that kind of response, so it's massively appreciated. Thank you so much. This edition covers Sunday the 30th of December up to Saturday the 5th of January. So we started the week on a sour note, really, to be honest. An interview with Lilian Thuram, where he spoke about the racism that's still quite prevalent in Serie A. Speaking with Corriere dello Sport, he said, "I get the impression that people get nervous when these things happen. They erase it quickly and shift their attention to other things. One incident is already too much in my opinion, but if these episodes are repeated and above all increase many years later, it means that Italian directors and fans aren't taking the issue very seriously. When incidents like this happen, I would close all Serie A stadiums for a weekend, not just Inter's. If Italian sports fans had to spend Saturday and Sunday without any games, they'd be obliged to reflect, to understand how unjust it is to attack a person on the pitch just for the colour of his skin." Next up, there was an interview with Juventus legendary goalkeeper Gigi Buffon, where he talked about the prospect of facing Juventus in the Champions League while he's currently playing for PSG. Speaking to Corriere della Sera, he said, "It would be beautiful and strange, but I'd go back to my stadium among my fans who I left in an emotional manner, a reunion. If it was the final though, it'd be hard to manage things after the game. I'd want to have the freedom to cheer wildly in case of victory." So there was only going to be one story that dominated all the headlines on Tuesday. There were reports both in Italy and in the UK that Aaron Ramsey had agreed a deal with Juventus. Still no official confirmation as yet, but there's talks from all the sort of usual reliable type of places like The Guardian, like The Times. In Italy, there's places like Sky Sport Italia, there's Goal Italia's Romeo Agresti, all these kinds of people all reporting the same thing, that Ramsey is more than likely to join Juventus. He hasn't actually agreed the deal as yet, but Juve are way ahead of the opposition. There's also talk that Ramsey actually turned down a more lucrative offer from PSG. There were also apparently offers from Inter Milan, Bayern, and even Real Madrid were interested. He's expected to earn somewhere in the region of 8 to 10 million euros, and we should probably get some more news in the months ahead. Wednesday, we had yet another brilliant interview with Cristiano, where he talked about how happy he is in Turin. He's given quite a few of these interviews, and every single one of them, the one thing that seems to keep coming across is just how happy he is at the club. And this latest interview with Record is no different. Speaking to the Portuguese paper, he said, "I don't want to break records, rather I work for the good of the club. 2018 was the best year of my career." He then went on to talk about Serie A, where he said, "In Serie A, they mark me as tightly as they do in Spain, but there's less space here because all the teams have excellent defences. Winning the Champions League is a dream, but we mustn't make it an obsession. Team trophies count and I'm working to win them. Everyone in Turin welcomed me in a fantastic way. We're all feeling very good. I don't know when my career will end, but I'm fine and I want to keep going for many more years." There's been a lot of speculation about the future of Leonardo Spinazzola, especially as he spent the best part of the season out injured. He has featured in some Primavera games. By all accounts, he did play pretty well. He's been in the squad on a couple of the most recent match days, but he's not actually played any minutes for Juve as yet. There was a suggestion that he may actually go out on loan just in a bid to actually get some minutes. It looks like the injury to Juan Cuadrado has kind of put pay to that. His agent also cleared up the whole idea of him going out on loan by speaking to Corriere dello Sport, saying that physically he's fine and many have asked me about him. He's at Juventus though, and I think coach Max Allegri has mentioned that the fullbacks could come in handy. It was a really nice little interview that coach Didier Deschamps gave about his time at Juventus. Speaking at the Globe Soccer event in Dubai, he said, "Coaching Juventus was a sporting and human adventure. I'm very attached to the club, and that was the only time they played in Serie B. We were playing against small teams, and then there was the satisfaction of winning the league right away. Juve gave me so much as a footballer, so for me it was important to give something back by giving my contribution to get them straight back into Serie A." We had some much needed clarity over Daniele Rugani's future this week as well, where his agent confirmed that despite his lack of playing time, there's no intention of him leaving the club, especially not in the January transfer window. Speaking to RMC, his agent told them that Rugani has never been placed on the market by Juventus, and that means he has done something right. Without doubt, he'll stay at Juve in January. Rugani is an old-fashioned player, committed to his profession and with, above all else, the desire to improve himself. Rugani is a reliable player, someone worthy of Juventus who ensures he is always ready. A player doesn't stay at Juventus for 4 years without deserving it. A great little quote from Cristiano, quite brief, but it's short and to the point. Speaking to people in Dubai, where he was at the Globe Soccer Awards, he said, "I swear I will do the impossible to win the Champions League with Juventus." Following on from that, there was a great interview with Fabio Paratici where he spoke about the signing of Ronaldo. I won't actually read out the entire thing, I've included a link just underneath in the bio, but he said, "Ronaldo is Ronaldo, there's not much else to say. We're very happy with him, and not just from a technical point of view, he works so hard every day and is an example. When you see someone who's number one working like that, everyone feels obliged to do the same thing." Then speaking about the transfer itself, he said, "It all happened very quickly. It was a historic transfer and we need to thank the president and Real Madrid because selling a player like that isn't easy. The first contact was in the Champions League quarterfinals. Jorge Mendes told me that Cristiano Ronaldo wanted to sign for Juventus. I thought it was a joke. Then we met to discuss Cancelo and he brought up Cristiano again. At that point I realized we could try and I went to talk to President Andrea Agnelli." A really bizarre story next, but it was just so ridiculous it was worth including. The new director of Rai 2, Carlo Ficero, claims that Juventus are the ones that control VAR. He gave a little rant where he said, "I only watch the Premier League now because Juventus always win in Italy. That's because they have occupied all of VAR. It's something out of this world. All of the VARs are controlled by them. They're maneuvering, doing this, that and the other. It's irritating." And then he ended the interview by saying, "Forza Roma." Jorge Mendes won the Agent of the Year at the Globe Soccer Awards, and he took a moment to just talk about Cristiano and how he's adapting to life in Turin. Speaking about the move, he said, "He needed a little time to adapt to life in Italy at first, but has been on fine form for a while. I too thought it was impossible for him to join Juve, but he strongly wanted to come to Turin, and in the end, it all went well. With the summer signing of Cristiano and João Cancelo, Juve have certainly become the main candidates to win the Champions League. It'd be a dream come true for Cristiano to win the Champions League with Juve, but there are many factors needed in this competition, including good luck. Over a league tournament, consistency pays off, but that's not the case in Europe." A slightly bizarre story to close out the week, and I'm a little bit reluctant to include it as it's only being reported in a few places. None of those places being particularly reliable, places like Mundo Deportivo and a few others. The report goes that Max Allegri has actually decided to end his time at Juventus and he'll actually leave the club in the summer. Report goes on to suggest that the most likely replacement is going to be Zinedine Zidane. There's also been a suggestion that there's already an agreement between Andrea Agnelli and Zidane for him to take over in the summer, but I would really take that with a big pinch of salt for the moment. So January is here, which means we're inevitably going to get a lot of transfer stuff coming through. Juventus have said a couple of times that they're not really going to be looking to reinforce. There may be some players possibly leaving the club rather than coming in. Sports media set, of course, start the week with a story that James Rodriguez could come to Juventus should Bayern fail to take up their option to actually sign him in the summer. I believe it's somewhere in the region of 40 million euros. It just seems completely bizarre that they would not take up the option. I think it's really unlikely that it will be anywhere near Juventus in the summer. Next up, there's a report from Gazzetta dello Sport that Juventus are looking to sign Cristian Romero. This has been mentioned in a few different places. The narrative tends to be that Juve and Inter are going to go head to head. It's going to be one of these deals that Paratici and Marotta are going to clash over. Juve, by the sounds of it, are looking to sign the player in the January transfer window and then loan him straight back for anywhere between 6 to 18 months. It looks like the kind of deal that Juve would probably pursue, looking at the back line, knowing that Barzagli is on his way out, Chiellini is into the last couple of years of his contract. I think this is one of those stories that's probably more likely to happen. It's one of the stories that we should be keeping an eye on because it's more sort of in line with the type of deal that Juve like to do at this time of year. Not necessarily a big, flashy, all-out expensive signing, just something that's probably going to be under the radar, just an investment for the future. Looks like a really promising young player. I think definitely one to keep an eye on. So that's it for episode 2. Once again, a huge thank you to everyone that's subscribed, everyone that's given feedback, everyone that's liked, everyone that's given any kind of opinion or thoughts on how to improve things. This really is a work in progress, so I really welcome everyone's feedback. Thank you so much for listening, and fino alla fine, forza Juve.